Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I know I went to college and college doesn't give you a lot of free time, so that's where I've been. But I thought since I'm on break, I have some time and I thought I'd reminisce on my days as a server slash busser slash hostess in the restaurant industry. And I thought I might share some tips or advice that I learned in my time doing all those jobs. So yeah, let's get into it. So number one, always log your hours that you work on a separate sheet of paper so that you can verify that your check is correct. So whenever you walk into the restaurant, like they might have like a clock in device or whatever, but at my restaurant we just like filled out a sheet of paper, and sometimes like my checks would be incorrect or like the hours wouldn't add up correctly. So you always want to make sure that you're doing that math on your own so that when you get the check, like you know exactly what you should be earning. So that's how I like kept track of my money. All right, tip number 2 is to always convert your money at the end of your shift. So in the restaurant industry, you're gonna be tipped like in cash a lot. So you're gonna have a lot of singles, which means that there's a higher probability that you'll lose money, because if you just have singles, like you can just like lose some. So I always made it a point to convert my money into bigger bills at the end of the day, either at the hostess register or next door at like the grocery store, but I always converted my cash. So number 3, this is dealing with clothing. So your restaurant might have like a dress code or a uniform or whatever. At my restaurant, we just wore like black or blue jeans and like a black t-shirt, or like the t-shirt with our logo on it. So, but if you didn't have that, you just wore black t-shirt and jeans. For the servers or hostesses, they would wear like little like pullovers or jackets or whatever. But yeah, so, and then you always have to wear black non-slip shoes. Whenever you're going towards like the back of house, it's called back of house, is like behind what the customers can't see, which is like the kitchen and like the dish area, or the bus area. You're gonna want to wear non-slip shoes because like it's all tile and like you could slip and like hurt yourself, so don't do that. I would recommend what were they? If I can find a picture, I'll insert it, but they're like black Fila shoes, and they lasted me like a good 2 years, so they're pretty good. But whatever you wear, you're gonna want to look very presentable. Well, that depends on what job you're working. Usually hostesses, like you're the face of the restaurant, so you want to look as presentable as you can. Servers are still like, you're supposed to like look good, you know, better looking people get better tips generally. So but like for bussers or any back of house, like it's not really as important to look good. Tip number 4 also goes along with clothes. What I advise is that you have like at least another spare set of clothing. So like have 2 jeans, 2 black shirts, so that in case you like come home from a night shift and you have like work the next morning, you're not gonna have time to wash and dry all your clothes, or maybe you do, but I never did. So instead, I would just have like, I would spot clean the clothes like right when I came home, and then I would wear a different set of clothes for the next day, so it was like already ready. All right, tip number 5, learn the lingo of a restaurant. Basically, the most important words you're gonna want to learn are behind, heard, and 86th. So behind is what you're gonna want to say whenever you're behind anyone, because the last thing you want to happen is someone to turn around with like all these plates in your hand and like knock everything over. So just always make sure whenever you're behind someone, you yell out behind. Going along that same line, whenever you're turning a corner, you don't know who's behind that corner, so you want to like yell out corner, just so people know you're there. And then 86th basically means that like something is out, or like the kitchen ran out of something. Yeah, not much else to it. 86th means no more. All right, number 6, expect to be called in all the time. I mean, at first I started working once a week, just like on Sunday mornings, but like eventually I just started working like, you know, 3 times a week, because I just got called in so much, like at any random point. Like I was always flexible, I guess, so I would work like anytime anyone needed me. Like they just called me in, and then I would work. And seeing that I was busser, hostess, and server, I could get called in for like 3 jobs basically. But yeah, the restaurant industry is like a revolving door. There's always people quitting, there's always people, you know, staying, getting trained, leaving. it's just a crazy industry, so just expect to be called in. All right, now number 7, be kind to everyone. Even if you don't like everyone, you don't have to be people's friends in the restaurant industry, but you do need to be kind and cordial to people. Why? Because those people can help you when you need it. For example, if you're a server, and you like mess up an order or like put something in wrong or like need to order something from the kitchen, you want to be like cool with the kitchen so the chefs don't scream at you. Well, like, they still will probably, but like less if you're like cordial with them. So, and then like, just like with the busser and whatever, if you're cool with the busser, they're gonna bus your tables probably quicker than other people who they're, not cool with. So, and like hostesses, like, if you want to get sat or like you maybe don't want that table sat in your section, you can like ask the hostess like, hey, put them over there with Sally or whatever. So you want to be like friendly with everyone. All right, number 8, you want to stay out of the drama. The restaurant industry is full of drama, dude. It's so funny. But like, just be a passive observer. Like, don't get involved in the drama. Like, I think that goes without saying. Like, that's like problematic. Just don't be in the drama. And number 9, kind of going along with that, don't date your coworkers. Like, come on, like just don't do it. Just don't. And number 10, keep your outside problems outside of work. Now, I know it's kind of hard to say that when, like, maybe you have, like, some issues going on in your personal life and it's just, like, takes over your whole existence and being. So, but, like, the thing is, like, try to, like, compartmentalize that. So, like, when you go into work, if you're in a bad mood, like, it's gonna show and, like, your customers are gonna notice. So, I mean, just try your best to kind of, like, compartmentalize and like realize, okay, I'm at work, I need to like put on a show basically. All right, tip number 11, try to get some sleep. I know it's kind of hard for like the night shift to like even fathom that idea, but like try to get as much sleep as you can because in the restaurant industry you're doing a lot of like multitasking and you have to keep a lot of things in your head and like very organized. You have to be like on the ball for everything. So like if you're sleep deprived, you're gonna make more mistakes and that's just like problematic. So just try to get as much sleep as you can. And my tip number 12 is to lay out all of your clothes and all of your like things that you need the night before you go into work so that everything, like when you wake up, you're like ready to go. And it makes sure that you don't like forget anything before you go to work. All right, tip number 13. So I recommend memorizing the map of your restaurant as well as the menu. This goes for any job, and here's why. So I started off as a busser, and I thought, like I don't need to know the table numbers or the menu, whatever, like I'm the busser. So like that's for the hostess and server. However, like there will be times when like the boss says like, okay, Lexi, like go clean off table 11 or whatever. I'm like, where's table 11? So you need to like learn where these tables are. And then also customers don't care who you are. They're going to ask you for stuff like whether you're busser, whether you're hostess, server, it doesn't matter. They're going to say, hey, can I get a refill on this or can I add this to my order? And you're gonna have to know like which table number that is probably to like add it to ask like the server to add it to their bill or whatever. So it's just better generally to like have an idea and an understanding of the table numbers as well as the menus. And that also goes along like if you want to get promoted to a higher position like hostess or server, you'll already know all that stuff and like you won't have to start from ground zero. All right, tip number 14 is to speak loudly and clearly, especially to customers, obviously, and to the kitchen as well, because in the kitchen it's like really loud and like it's hard to hear. So just always like, make it a point to like talk clearly and loudly just so there's no like miscommunication or whatever. And like you don't know if customers are kind of hard of hearing or whatever. So I always just like, don't scream at them, but like just be clear with your voice. All right, tip number 15 is pretty important. Always repeat back the customer's order and total. Now, this applies to in person, I guess. Like after you take their order at their table, you want to just repeat what they said they had. But it's more important over the phone. You just want to make sure that you read them back their order as well as their total, because you don't want them to be surprised when they like come in and there's like a different total. You just want to make sure they know exactly what they're going to pay when they come up to the register, when they pick up their food. All right, tip number 16, if you have long hair, just tie it back. I mean, yeah, like this kind of goes without saying, you don't really want like hair in anyone's food. So yeah, just like tie it back. Also, it's like really hot in a restaurant, so it's like it'll keep you cooler, I guess. But yeah, just keep your hair tied back. Number 17, save your money. I know, like, especially as a high school kid, I was like, wow, this is like so much like fast cash, because it really is. Like, most of your income is like tips. My wage for busing and serving was like incredibly low. Like, I think it was like busing was like $6 and like hosting or serving was like 5, I think. So majority of your money is tips. So when you have all that cash in your hand, because it's really like you get cash immediately, like the day of, like it's right there. So you might be tempted to be like, oh my gosh, like let me just spend this all, but like don't do that, like save it. Like, come on. I mean, you do what you want to do with your money, but like for me, I like saving it. And tip number 18, be patient. A lot of things in the restaurant industry are beyond your control. People quitting is beyond your control. What the cooks are doing, or what ingredients you have, or what's out, or what's 86th, that's all beyond your control. And if a customer gets mad at you, or something like is happening that makes it hard to get your customer what they want, just be patient and always explain the situation to the guests so that they're not like kind of in the dark. Usually they're pretty understanding. So yeah, but just don't get flustered. Don't like freak out if something is wrong that's like beyond your control. Just keep rolling with the punches. So yeah, that's about it. I have a lot more stuff that's like more geared towards bussers, servers, and hostesses, like especially because I have more insight into those jobs. But yeah, overall, reflecting on the restaurant industry, would I do it again? Probably. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like the cash is good, but it's pretty crazy, like the hours, you know. Like at one point I was like, I had to you when you come to work, you don't even know what's gonna happen. Like your coworker might have just like quit, or like some anything can happen, honestly. So you just have to be flexible and like just ready for whatever. So but yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, I got a lot of like my confidence and my ability to talk to people through the restaurant industry, so I'm like forever grateful for that. But yeah, those are some like little bits of wisdom or advice I can give to you guys. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions about the restaurant industry, please leave them in the comments below, and while you're down there, you can subscribe, you know. But yeah, that's about it for me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!